Ty Tygon Reality TV. And welcome TTR TV. And today I just got off the ferry and I just now am just spending just the day only visiting. Actually, I drove like maybe 50 miles to get here, but I am now spending just the day at Coronado. I'm supposedly at the northern part of the island of Coronado, and it's really interesting. Really interesting. I've already visited before the southern part at one time and saw the hotel, but on that side of the island there's not really much to see. There was like some shops and some restaurants, but the northern part seems to be more of the touristy spot and more of the interesting looking spot. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. And there's the city over there that's on the mainland. Very big and very interesting. And yeah, this is quite an interesting area. Small, I have to say. Very small. A lot of people make a big deal about it, but I just came from Old Town and I now drove from Old Town to Coronado, and I was just curious of what this area is like and what it looks like here. It's interesting, but you know what? I actually kind of find Old Town a little bit more interesting. But this is pretty small. Yeah, I'm already at the edge right now. But yeah, this is really interesting. Touristy spot, basic seaside area. Same kind of seaside area like you see in like Redondo Beach, like you see in Dana Point, like you see in Laguna Beach. All areas of that sort that I've been to before. Interesting. Very interesting. So far I've visited a lot of parts of California, and this one, interesting. And there's the edge of the island right there, and there's where people are fishing and that kind of stuff. Oh, and here's the beach side right here. Interesting. Sand is kind of washed up and firm. Looks like the current, or maybe high tide, might have came up to the edge here, or maybe they come up during the edge during the storm, perhaps. But yeah, this looks really interesting. Water doesn't look very clean or very nice looking, honestly. Here's the seaweed and trash. Wish they clean up the ocean. So horrible. But yeah, here's the coastline and the ocean. Oh, there's some battleships. Oh, that's cool. And I saw another one somewhere else that was really big. Oh, maybe it's that one. Well, this is pretty interesting. So far, all the beaches that I've seen in California, I think I have to say Redondo Beach looks the most interesting. This beach in, I've been to a beach in Del Mar, I've been to a beach in Dana Point, I've been to the beach in Capistrano, and I've been to the one in Laguna Beach, although I forgot to vlog in some of those places. I should have. I don't know why I didn't, but I forgot to. But vlogging this one in Coronado Beach, not as interesting, although I did see the part in the southern part of Coronado, which is by the Hotel of Coronado, and the Hotel del Coronado, and that one looked interesting, and a lot better looking than this beach, that's for sure. Now, this part I might add, but I probably would edit this part out, I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting. So, a small little touristy spot, and whoa, there's a military helicopter coming. Not much to see here. I'm a little bit disappointed, actually. Look at that. Protecting America. That's cool. So, my experience so far being on Coronado is interesting. I don't know, maybe I'll just go and take a drive over or visit the other side of the island. So far the northern part isn't very interesting. So I'll go check out the other side later today. But my battery's kind of low, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to film that part. But so far, interesting. Really interesting. Northern part of the island, there's some shops and some touristy areas. It's interesting, it's good, but it's a little disappointing. I think, in my opinion, Coronado is mostly an island for some residents, and mostly for residents for the military, and for mainly for military bases. Because I looked on Google Maps and I've noticed before, oh wow, an actual hovercraft, military hovercraft. Oh cool. But to be honest, the island seems to be mostly for the military because the northern part of the island is occupied, or more so the northwest of the island is occupied by the military, and then the southeast of the island is covered by the military, and the other side of the island between the northern and the mainland is also military. So I guess you'd have to say it's like maybe 75% military, 25% or 20% residential, and 5% tourist. Like this area here, which is interesting, really cool. There's a few restaurants, real nice ones. There's a Greek restaurant that looks pretty good, and a pizza restaurant. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try one of the pizza restaurants or the. But yeah, that's what's on the island. Not much to see. I'm gonna take a look. Hopefully, oh, my battery's really getting low. Well, I'm gonna go and check out the other side of the island and see what that's like. So far, interesting. So far, not the number one place I find interesting of California. There could be other parts that I think might be more interesting, such as Redondo Beach seems to be more interesting than this, and Old Town. So these are the areas that I'm going to check out. So far, Old Town and Redondo Beach seems to be the two most interesting areas. But so far, this one is good. I want to see what else there is to offer. So yeah, we'll see you later. So yeah, checking out this area, it's pretty cool and pretty interesting. And I'm just kind of curious about the new trend that's going on the internet. How about myself a spinner? I don't know what the big deal is. It's just a little thing that you spin on your hand. I guess prevent fidgeting, and also maybe help people who have ADHD to concentrate better and not be distracted by other stuff, so they can focus on important tasks. But all it is a little thing that spins, and it measures with centrifugal force and just simple physics. Basic physics. Spinner is just centrifugal force, where it spins in one direction, and if you turn it, you can feel the gravity that's on the end, and you can feel the pull. It's just really interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go and check out another part of the island. The northern part of Coronado is interesting, but I don't know. I'm gonna take a look and see what the southern part looks like. Not much to see up here, so I'm gonna see if there's more to see down in the southern part. Yeah, since I opened up bought my spinner. I may as well just try it out. Here it is, my spinner. Whee! Whee! Yeah, I could feel the centrifugal force. As I turn, I could feel the slight resistance on the turn. Oh, this spins a long time. But I see when someone's fidgeting, you'd be like kind of like this, kind of like that, and maybe go like that, like that. Oh yeah, I often do stuff like this all the time when I'm standing. Oh wow. You know, I kind of have a... It comes apart like that, huh? Interesting. But yeah, I kind of have a onychophasia, and I usually bite at my nails or bite at my cuticles or anything. I think I should like carry this around and kind of fidget like this. This will actually kind of help me out. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of helped my onychophasia problem. That's cool. Alright, well, fidget. Little spinner for a fidget. Little spinner for a fidget. This thing's kind of cool. I kind of see why this is a big trend on the internet, why so many people make a big fuss about these things. Kind of see why. Alright, well, off to go and check out another part of the island just for fun. So let's see. Okay, so here I am. I'm on the other side of the island, and it's pretty interesting. Quite the fresh air, I must say. The air feels a little bit salty and refreshing, if that makes any sense to you. But yeah, here over there is the Hotel del Coronado. That's all the way over there. I would actually drive into it, but the only problem is you have to actually pay to get in. There's like these little arms that come down, and I think you have to pay. I'm not fully sure, but I think you're supposed to pay. But I didn't bother to go and do that, so I'm just simply cruising around, and I already walked around inside of the city in deep where there's all the shops and all the restaurants and everything. Interesting, pretty interesting. The shops there are pretty basic. Nothing of full interest except for that one shop I went into to get the spinner, which, you know, I mean, that's just something that happened out of coincidence as I was just curious to go into that store. But any other shop, it doesn't really interest me that much. It's just a bunch of interesting touristy kind of things. But it was interesting. A bunch of surf stuff and scenery and a bunch of interesting kind of stuff like that. But take a look at this. This is really interesting. You can see those 3 ships on the water over there. Those look like cargo ships. And you can see here, there's all the beach area. Big, interesting. And there's another military helicopter. So, yeah. Interesting. It's very different than what I've experienced. I never thought Coronado would be so military-like. Makes sense if there's like a military base on both sides of it and then across from the bridge of it. So yeah, that makes sense, but I never thought it would be so military. I thought it would be more residential and touristy, which actually is residential and touristy. Within inland of the island, there is houses and residential homes, and the center part throughout this one drive called Orange Avenue is all touristy. Bunch of shops, hotels, and restaurants. Pretty interesting. Out of all the places I've been in California, this is an experience. It's interesting. But that's my problem in a way. I mean, I'm probably being a little too negative. And that's only because beach life like this is cool. It's different. But I'm not really the beach person. I'm actually the person that enjoys being in a forest and being in nature like that. This is nature, but not my nature. I'm more of a forest, trees, wood person, where I'm around moss, mud, a little bit of fog, trees and wood, That's more my kind of theme. But this is different. So out of all places I've been to California, I find so far Old Town San Diego is the most interesting. It's calm, basic, no big deal, but I can't dismiss it yet because... Okay, let's start that again. So far my experience in California of different places is Coronado is interesting, but I'm sure and I know for sure there is much more to see. I want to try and experience more parts of California and check out different parts and different areas of California just to get more of an experience and more wider knowledge of what California has to provide. So I'll check those kind of things out on another traveling tour. So, Coronado. Interesting. Not much my theme, but still worth going to, and is interesting. Not a lot to do, surprisingly. Not a lot to do. But that's just me and my opinion. Everyone's opinion is always different. So, yes. Hope you enjoyed, and make sure to like and subscribe. Till the next vlog. Side 5. So here I am. I'm inside a Seaport Village. This area looks really interesting and really nice. I noticed it as I was exiting Coronado, and as I was exiting, I saw an area that says Seaport Village, and I drove through it, and I drove past it, and now I decided to come back here to check this area out. Look at those tall buildings. It's a very nice and interesting looking area. Very touristy, obviously, and interesting attractions. A lot to see and a lot to look around at. It's very interesting, especially seeing all these little different types of shops, all these different type of themed areas. It's very interesting. A lot to see and a lot to do. I gotta check all this out, definitely. And there's the spot where I was standing on the opposite end. Now I'm looking at the part where I first was standing at Coronado, and now I'm standing on the other side of it. Interesting. I wonder if you can get a better view at that. I'm going to try to zoom. See down there in the very center of the screen where you see like a little beige color beach? That's where I was standing in the first place. That's where I was standing in Coronado, and now I'm on the opposite side, looking on the other side. Interesting. Complete opposite.
Mark. Now I'm going to show you fire jumping the line. You might have heard firemen use the adage about fire jump the line. I'm going to show you what they mean by that.
Well, that was actually a surprise. I didn't expect to see that. That guy was actually swallowing swords, and well, that was quite an interesting event. The guy actually, well, that was actually quite a surprise. I never thought that coming here, I have a guy that's actually going to be. Oh, wait a minute. He has something else.
All right, put it in the hat. There it is. Give the young man a round of applause.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was actually quite a surprise. I didn't expect to come here and have the actual live performance of a guy actually swallowing swords and actually spitting fire and swallowing fire and spitting it out. I've seen that kind of stuff before on TV, and I've seen it like on America's Got Talent and all kinds of whatever reality type shows of random crazy weird stuff that they show on TV. And I've seen it only on TV, but I've never seen it in person like that. And it's just like what you see on TV, but it's more intense and more amazing to see it in person, actually see someone in front of you actually doing something like that, which is really cool and really amazing. But yeah, coming here in the Seaport Village area, it's quite an entertaining area. Quite a lot to see here, and I didn't know there'd be a live performer too. But he's a person that would travel around and go to different areas to do performance, but I never thought I would bump into this. I mean, what a coincidence to come here for the first time and then to see that. That's cool. That's really cool. So, a lot of things to see here and a lot of things to do. There's more to do, and I don't know what else there is around here, but I'm gonna find out. This is pretty cool so far. So yeah. So yeah, let's see what else there is. A random duck. So yeah, here I am. I'm actually at La Jolla Cove. On my way going more north in California. I just drove by and I'm driving past La Jolla now. And this area of La Jolla looks pretty nice. This is the La Jolla Cove area. I mean, take a look at that. That's really interesting. The water is so blue and so turquoise and blue, and I see a bunch of seaweed floating around too, which I find very interesting. But yeah, it's really interesting. Never thought water could be so blue, but it makes sense for it to be so blue from a wide angle because of how the sun emits all different colors of light, and blue is what's absorbed closer to the top upper layer and deeper layer of the water, and meanwhile all the other colors of light are reflected. So that's interesting. Interesting to see how the ocean is all bluish like that. But yeah, kind of interesting how it's all kind of really the same. I mean, going towards the area of where was I at today, yesterday? Yeah, when I was at the Harbor Point, it's basically kind of the same thing. Kind of the same type of, I mean, ocean is ocean, and coast is the coast. But this is different, really interesting. I think I'm going to go and maybe walk down to the bottom towards where those rocks are down there, and maybe see if I could see any kind of aquatic life forms or any kind of animals. Hey, look, a seagull. I'm sure I'll find some type of aquatic life form, maybe sea slugs, sea urchins, jellyfish, interesting things that might be in the water. I'll check it out. It seems really interesting so far. And this area is supposed to be a touristy type area as well, where it's going to have a bunch of little shops of whatever stuff. And I'm going to go and check those out and see what they're like. So yeah, let's get checking those out. Oh look, they're trying to climb the wall. How funny is that? Oh, look at that. Look at all that seaweed and all that stuff washing up. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, that was cool. I never thought I could actually just pet a wild squirrel. They're so tame. I guess they're just used to people coming up to you and feeding. I'm sure they're used to people having them come up to people and people feeding them or something. That was pretty cool. Never petted a squirrel before. That was cool. It just came up, looked at me, crawled over, and I just touched its back. That's cool. Interesting texture on the squirrel. It had sort of almost like a texture like you would pet a prairie dog, or maybe if you had really short hair and it's slightly greasy and you touched it, but it's really firm and stiff. Or if you're the type of person who has horses, it's like touching a horse on the shortest hair part. Well, that was cool. So yeah, this is really interesting. Oh look, an ice cream truck. Huh.
What's that?
Okay, I think I'm gonna get myself an ice cream. Got a chocolatey one. That's good. I've never driven a U-Haul truck this big before. Look at that. It's huge. Huge, huge, huge truck. I've never driven one so big before. That's a 29-footer, I think. I don't know. But it's supposed to hold 3+ bedrooms. Oh, what a big truck. Very big truck. Look at that. Huge, 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 huge. Never seen one so big before. Which is really quite amazing. But yeah, big truck. Very, very big truck. So yeah, that's fun. So yeah.